I had posted a picture of the new Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit palette that it just came out for Sephora VIB and VIB Rouge, I think. I'm sure it's coming to everybody soon. And I believe, actually, it was also available to order on the Hourglass website. I do have a couple of these, well, let's see here, almost all the products in here on my face today, so I could get a feel for them to be able to tell you in this video, because a lot of people wanted me to do a video on this. And then in the comments section, some people were like, totally not worth it, because there was a picture going around saying these are about the size of a quarter, and they are small. These are smaller than the trios that come out in holidays past. There's a trio on top, and then there's the new edit palette on the bottom. Inside of here there's 0.0116 ounces per product, and in here there's 0.049 ounces of product apiece. So also a full size of the ambient lighting powders, this is a dim light that I have here, is 0.35 ounces. You'd have to have 7 of these guys to equal the amount that's in like this guy right here, which that's kind of crazy. And then the amount of product in a full-size blush is 0.15 ounces of product. So the amount here is 0.049 ounces. It's a third. These here are a third the size of a full-size blush. You're getting 3 of the ambient powders to try inside of here. One of them, which is this one in the middle here, which is called Iridescent Light, is limited edition to this palette. And then you've got the bronzer, which is Luminous Bronze Light, and then 2 of the blushes. So you're getting a large amount to try out in this one palette without having to buy them individually to try. Because if you were to buy these all individually, now that price tag, that would be large, because I believe the powders are $45, the blushes are, I think, $35, and then the bronzers are also like 45 bucks. I didn't purchase any of the bronzers in the full size because I had seen swatches and they're really, really warm toned. I prefer my bronzers to be a little bit cooler in tone. Diffused Light, which is up here, I have been through a full size one of these. I use the ambient lighting powders as finishing powders. I know a lot of people like to use them as both setting powders and also as highlighters. This shade in the middle, which is the exclusive to this palette, it does have a nice sheen to it. But when I put it on the tops of my cheekbones, there wasn't a lot of pigment to it. There was a little bit of shine, but not a lot of pigment. So it's something that I would also use as a finishing powder, buff lightly all over my face. I actually went over it with the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Starlight highlighter that's out, which is great for fair skins. And I actually took my brush, which I always use this Chikuhodo, what is this? The MK3 brush. And to finish, this is like one of my favorite brushes to use with like finishing powders. I've been using my Guerlain Meteorites more recently as opposed to the Hourglass powders. But today I used these 3, and I just took my brush and I went back and forth across all 3 of them and buffed them all over my face. And then I used the bronzer, which is quite warm, and I used this blush right here, which is called Luminous Flush. There's Dim Light, Iridescent Light, Diffuse Light. Those are the ambient lighting powders. The Iridescent Light is exclusive to this palette. The one in the trio is called, Incandescent Light is the one that came in the trio from the holidays, which is also exclusive to this guy right here. So this is a new shade altogether. And then you've got Mood Exposure Blush, Luminous Flush Blush, and Luminous Bronze Light, which is the bronzer right there. So we'll go ahead and open up this guy. There is a mirror inside of there. And here are your powders. So I just swirled all 3 of them together and used those to finish off my face today. This does not pack enough of a punch for me. There's not enough pigment in it for me to use it as a highlighter. However, if you really want a subtle highlight, that would be very pretty. So here are those. Dim Light, the new one, which is Iridescent Light, and then over here you've got Diffuse Light. So those are the top 3. Then we'll do Mood Exposure, Luminous Flush, and then the Luminous Bronze Light. So there are those bottom products. Now let me show you, this is an MK3, and this is what I used to sweep across these top ones. I did have to push my brush higher to avoid getting into here, but I like to use a big fluffy brush to finish my face off. So size-wise, that's that right there. And then for the bronzer, I use the Goss number 13 brush, which is a smaller brush. And I chose this one because it was going to fit inside of this pan. And so when I did swirl it, I did have to watch out for it to blush. So size-wise, here's the Goss number 13 next to those, and it fits in there pretty decently. And then for the blush, I use the Goss number 14 brush, and this is what it looks like in comparison right there to that, this is the blush that I used today. This is the MAC 168 for comparison for you guys. So a 168 angled brush would fit in all three of these quite nicely. Right there. I do like the ambient lighting powders to finish off my face, which are these powders down here. Typically I use ethereal light. I've been through several of those, and I love that to lightly dust and buff over my entire face after I put all of my face makeup on it, and it just gives a really flawless look to the skin, kind of like the Guerlain Meteorites do for me as well. I do really like the blushes from Hourglass. I do have all of the full size in the blushes. I'm not crazy about the bronzer. I do like the formulation of the bronzer. It blended and went on my skin really, really nice, but this is just a little, it's too warm for my liking. I'm really, really fair, so that warm tone really picks up on me. Like I feel a little orange today. So this palette definitely is not a bang for your buck. You're paying a lot more money for the amount of product that you're getting. However, you're paying a lot less money for a lot more different products inside of one palette if you were wanting to try one. If you have a ton of, Hourglass Ambients already, you're probably not going to want this. This palette's going to be good for somebody who travels a lot and really likes the ambient products already and wants them in a convenient palette like so, or somebody who has never tried the Hourglass ambient products and have always wanted to. You will save money being able to try this many in one shot as opposed to buying them individually, but you are definitely getting a lot less product ounce for ounce in here than you are if you were to buy them separate. So I also found the products in here to be equivalent in terms of quality to their full-size counterparts that I do have already in my collection. So I feel like the formula is the same. There's not a ton that has changed. They match up for me. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. Thank you for watching. Do not forget to wear sunscreen, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.